America toppled Saddam Hussein in 21 days. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was captured by the United States military within hours. Libya collapsed before the dust settled. But Iran? Iran is still standing. So the question isn't whether the world's most powerful nations could attack Iran. The real question is this: why has no one, in over 2,000 years, ever been able to keep it down?
On paper, Iran should not be this hard to deal with. Its GDP is a fraction of the United States. Its military technology is decades behind NATO. It has been under crushing international sanctions for over 40 years. And yet, Iran has not collapsed. It has not surrendered. It has not been absorbed. Instead, it has expanded its influence across Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen, building a web of regional power that makes direct confrontation increasingly dangerous. To understand how this is possible, you have to go back, not 10 years, not 50 years, but more than 2,500 years. Around 550 BCE, a king named Cyrus the Great did something no ruler had ever done at that scale. He didn't just conquer people, he governed them. His Persian Empire stretched from Egypt to the borders of India, an area larger than the continental United States. And he ran it not through fear alone, but through a system of administration so sophisticated that it became the blueprint for nearly every great empire that followed. Different languages were permitted, local religions were protected. Regional governors, called satraps, managed local affairs, keeping populations stable and loyal.
This wasn't just clever politics. This was the birth of a national identity so deep and so layered that it would survive the collapse of every single dynasty that came after it. Persians didn't just build an empire, they built a civilization. And civilizations, unlike governments, don't fall when armies march through the capital. They survive in the language people speak, in the poetry they recite, in the calendar they use, in the way they understand themselves in relation to the world. This is the first key to understanding Iran. Its identity was never tied to a single ruler or regime. It was woven into the culture itself.
In 334 BCE, Alexander the Great launched his famous campaign eastward. He was arguably the greatest military commander in history. He never lost a battle. By 330 BCE, he had burned the Persian royal city of Persepolis, an act historians still debate as either calculated strategy or a drunken night of rage. The Achaemenid dynasty was finished. Persia had been conquered. But here's what the textbooks often skip. Within a generation, Alexander's successors, the Seleucids, began adopting Persian customs, Persian court rituals, and Persian administrative systems. The conquerors had been absorbed. This is the pattern that repeats itself over and over again throughout Iranian history, and it is perhaps the most important geopolitical lesson this land has ever taught the world. Conquerors arrive, they win militarily, they plant their flag, and then, slowly, quietly, the land begins to change them. Persian culture, Persian language, Persian identity, it doesn't resist by fighting back. It resists by enduring, by outlasting, by making itself indispensable to whoever holds power. This is not passivity. This is one of the most sophisticated forms of civilizational resilience ever documented in history.
In the 7th century CE, Arab armies swept out of the Arabian Peninsula and defeated the Sasanian Empire, the last great pre-Islamic Persian dynasty, in a series of battles that ended 600 years of Persian rule. Islam arrived in Iran. A new language, Arabic, became dominant in religion and scholarship. Again, it appeared that Persian identity had been erased. But within 2 centuries, something remarkable happened. Persian scholars became the intellectual backbone of the Islamic Golden Age. The great poet Rumi wrote in Persian, not Arabic. Persian mathematical and philosophical traditions shaped Islamic science. The court language of the Abbasid Caliphate, centered in Baghdad, was heavily influenced by Persian bureaucratic culture.
Let that sink in for a moment.
A civilization that had just been militarily defeated turned around and became the cultural engine of the empire that defeated it. Iran didn't just survive the Arab conquest, it helped define what Arab Islamic civilization became. This is not a story of a country that simply refuses to give up. This is a story of a civilization that knows exactly who it is and uses that knowledge as a weapon far more powerful than any army. And the pattern was about to repeat, in perhaps its most dramatic form yet. In the 13th century, the Mongols arrived. The historians who witnessed it described scenes that are almost impossible to process. Entire cities were erased from the map. The population of Iran may have dropped by as much as 75% in some regions, among the most catastrophic demographic collapses in recorded human history. The great city of Nishapur, once one of the largest cities on Earth, was destroyed so completely that Mongol commanders reported even the dogs and cats to be killed. If any civilization was going to be permanently erased from history, it should have been Iran in the 1220s.
And yet, within 50 years of the initial conquest, the Mongol rulers of Iran, the Ilkhanate, had converted to Islam. They were commissioning Persian poetry, rebuilding Persian cities, employing Persian administrators to run their courts. By the time the Ilkhanate collapsed in the 1330s, its rulers were, for all practical purposes, Persian. This is the third time in this story that the same thing happened. An outside power arrives with overwhelming force, wins completely on the battlefield, and then gets absorbed. 3 different civilizations spanning 1,500 years, the same result every time.
But cultural resilience alone doesn't explain everything. The land itself is a weapon. Iran sits on a vast plateau surrounded by some of the most difficult terrain on Earth. To the north, the Alborz mountain range, with peaks reaching over 18,000 feet. To the west, the Zagros Mountains, which form a natural wall running nearly 1,000 miles along the border. In the center and east, the Dasht Kavir and Dasht Talut, 2 of the most extreme and inhospitable deserts on the planet. The Dasht Talut has recorded surface temperatures of over 159 degrees Fahrenheit, the hottest land surface temperature ever recorded on Earth. Any invading army that tries to hold all of Iran faces a logistical nightmare with no clean solution. Fast forward to the 20th century, the discovery of oil in Iran transformed the country from a regional power into a global strategic prize, and it invited exactly the kind of foreign interference that its history had always produced. Britain had been managing Iranian oil through the Anglo-Persian Oil Company since 1908, extracting enormous wealth while leaving Iran with a fraction of the profits. When Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh, democratically elected, moved to nationalize Iran's oil industry in 1951, he became one of the most popular figures in Iranian history. The response from the West was immediate and decisive. In 1953, the CIA and British intelligence services, in an operation codenamed Ajax by the Americans and Boot by the British, organized a coup that removed Mossadegh from power and reinstated Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi as the dominant ruler of Iran. The United States has officially acknowledged this operation. The historical record is unambiguous. What is also unambiguous is what this event did to Iranian political psychology. It confirmed for millions of Iranians exactly what they had always suspected, that foreign powers, particularly the West, viewed Iran not as a sovereign nation, but as a resource to be managed. This wound has never fully healed, and it shaped everything that came after. By the late 1970s, the Shah's regime had become increasingly authoritarian. His secret police, Savak, was notorious for the torture and imprisonment of political opponents. Dissatisfaction cut across every class of Iranian society, from urban intellectuals to rural workers to the merchant class of the bazaar. In 1979, what began as scattered protests became a revolution that stunned the world. The Shah fled, Ayatollah Khomeini returned from exile, and the Islamic Republic of Iran was born.
This was not simply a religious movement. It was, at its core, another chapter in Iran's long history of reasserting control over its own destiny, of saying, in the clearest possible terms, "We will not be managed, we will not be absorbed. We are Persia, and we are still here."
Since 1979, Iran has developed a military and geopolitical doctrine specifically designed around one core reality: it cannot win a conventional war against the United States. So it built a strategy to make sure that war never happens on American terms. This is called asymmetric warfare, and Iran has arguably become its most sophisticated practitioner in the modern world. Instead of building an air force that can compete with the US Navy, Iran built thousands of precision missiles capable of hitting American bases across the Middle East. Instead of deploying conventional armies, it funded and trained proxy forces, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, militias in Iraq and Syria, that extend its reach without directly engaging its enemies.
And then there is the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway, at its tightest point just 21 miles wide, is the passage through which approximately 20% of the world's oil supply flows every single day. Iran borders this strait on its northern coast. If Iran were to block, or even credibly threaten to block, the Strait of Hormuz, the economic consequences for the global economy would be immediate and severe. Oil prices would spike, supply chains would fracture. The political cost of any military action against Iran suddenly becomes much, much higher for every world power involved. This is not a bluff. This is a calculated strategic position built over decades, and it works. There is one more factor that is rarely discussed in Western analysis of Iran, and it may be the most important of all. Iran has a population of approximately 87 million people. It is not a small, isolated state. It is a large, educated, and deeply nationalistic society with a median age of around 32 years old. Study after study has shown that even Iranians who strongly oppose their government, and there are millions of them, would resist a foreign invasion. The 1980 to 1988 Iran-Iraq War demonstrated this with brutal clarity. Iraq invaded Iran in 1980, expecting a quick victory over a country still reeling from revolution. Instead, Iran fought for 8 years. Hundreds of thousands of Iranians died, and they kept fighting. The United States spent 20 years and over $2 trillion in Afghanistan. It spent nearly $2 trillion more in Iraq. Both countries had populations a fraction of Iran's size. Both had far less developed national identities. Both lacked Iran's geographical complexity. And in both cases, military victory in the conventional sense came quickly and meant almost nothing in the long run. American strategists understand this. When senior military officials are asked directly about the feasibility of a ground invasion of Iran, the answers, even from those who are hardliners, are typically the same. Nobody who has actually studied the problem thinks it ends quickly or cleanly.
Here is the deeper truth that this entire history points toward. Iran is not hard to defeat because its military is invincible. It isn't. Iran is not hard to defeat because its government is brilliantly managed. It isn't. Iran is hard to defeat because it is the continuation of something that is over 2,500 years old, a civilization with a sense of itself so deep that it has survived Alexander the Great, the Arab Caliphate, the Mongol hordes, British imperialism, CIA-backed coups, and 4 decades of economic sanctions. Every time the world has declared Iran weakened, isolated, finished, Iran has found a way to still be there. The mistake that outside powers have made, repeatedly, is approaching Iran as a problem to be solved, rather than a civilization to be understood. Cyrus the Great built something in that plateau between the mountains and the desert that proved more durable than any wall, any army, any sanction, any coup. He built an identity. And identities, as history has shown again and again, are the hardest things in the world to destroy. The next time you read a headline about Iran, about its nuclear program, its proxy wars, its defiance of the international community, remember what you've just learned. This isn't the behavior of a desperate regime with its back against the wall. This is the behavior of a civilization that has been here before, many times, and is still here.
If this video changed the way you think about Iran or about how civilizations survive, let us know in the comments. What part of this history surprised you the most? Drop your answer below. We read every single comment. And if you want more deep dives like this, connecting the ancient world to the headlines you read today, subscribe, hit the bell. Because history isn't just the past, it's the instruction manual for everything happening right now. See you in the next one.